that it has now been established that a minimum of 1/3 and more likely 2/3 of all medical healing, which includes surgery and drugs and everything else, is all accomplished through what is called the placebo effect. And that basically says that it's the mind of the patient and their belief system that ultimately determines whether the drugs or the surgery are going to manifest any difference. Basically, arthroscopic surgery, and I forgot, I think they do about 180,000 of these operations a year. A doctor at Houston wanted to do a study. He said he really wanted to find out, was it the rinsing out of the fluid or the scraping of the knee that really provided the major healing process. So he was going to do this as a research study, and the woman who was helping him said, but you must include a placebo group. And he fabricated a placebo operation. What he would do is he'd make the 2 incisions. The patient, of course, couldn't see their knee. There was a draping over it. And what he would do was put on the video screen a surgery that he had done earlier in videotape from somebody else. And so what he would do is the patient would get the incisions, they'd watch the surgery, and he would talk through the surgery like, you know, overdubbing, saying, oh yeah, everything's going great, Mr. X, and Mr. X is watching the screen and all that. So that was the placebo surgery. Didn't do anything, made 2 incisions, sewed it back up. They looked at the results, and the results were every process was equally the same. Whether they rinsed it out, whether they scraped it and rinsed it out, or whether they just did the incisions and nothing at all. He had to own, and it was like really difficult, he had to say that all I'm doing is creating a very elaborate and very expensive placebo. And the mind did the healing. There's something called the nocebo effect. And the nocebo effect is essentially the same as a placebo effect, but it's based on something different. It says a negative belief can hurt you, if not kill you, as much as a positive belief can heal you. And so the real serious issue is that it's really the power of belief. Positive or negative are equally powerful, but go in opposite directions. Right. The function of the mind is to create coherence between your beliefs and the reality that you experience. So if you have a belief in your mind that you can't do something, or that you are, susceptible to something, and that's your belief, then the mind's function is to create coherence so that you will manifest that belief to be true. So it's very interesting, because Henry Ford, he would say, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right. When a patient hears that they cannot heal themselves, when there's something that's terminal, or any of these other issues, that perception alone can stop the entire healing process right there.
You know, my friend Deepak Chopra, do you know Deepak? Yes. Talked about one of his best friends. He died, he had a black mark on his lung. And when he found out that he had this black mark on his lung, it meant lung cancer, and he was devastated. And within 3 weeks, he was dead. When they were cleaning out his office, they found x-rays that had been taken of him 20 years before. Same black mark was on the lung, the exact same. It had been there for 20 years, but it wasn't until he found out and thought that this was a brand new thing, and then the mind began to take over.